The Texas UIL crowns their state military and Class 1A, 3A, and 5A state marching band champions. For the fourth time, this DFW area marching band has won the Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional. And we preview the Class 2A, 4A, and 6A state marching band championships as General Effect Media presents This Week in Texas Band. Welcome to the second installment of This Week in Texas Band, where we take a look back at the state military championships that took place at the end of October, the 1A, 3A, 5A open class championship that took place last week, the Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional that took place last weekend, and then we preview the currently in progress 2A, 4A, 6A UIL State Marching Band Championships taking place in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. A lot to get to, so let's dive in. First, starting off with the State Military Band Championships. Now, this is something that we had forgot to mention last week, but thankfully a commenter reminded us about this. Now, here in Texas, we have two different marching band tracks. We have the military, which is your traditional military marching band, and then we have what we call open class. That's your more core style, the bands that you may see at Bands of America. About 5 years ago, they got together and voted to split it up. Before that, the military and core style both went competition together, and you had a number of military bands that would advance to state marching championships as well as finals, typically more in the lower classifications. But then they decided to split it up, and you can decide your track. You can decide to go to state military, you can decide to go to show style or core style or open class. So let's talk about the military championships. Now, they have broken our 6 classifications. They have grouped them into 4 different classes. You have 1A and 2A that compete next to each other. You have 3A, you have 4A, and then you have 5A and 6A. I imagine that is due to the pool size of bands that are competing in military. Now, this took place in the last week of October, the 29th and 30th, or maybe the 28th, 29th, 30th, but regardless, took place in the last week of October. If we go to 1A, Carlisle High School wins their 5th consecutive 1A military marching band championship, sweeping all judges. That's right. As long as the military contest has existed, Carlisle High School has won it. Wow, 5 times in a row. Swept it. Good for them. If we go into Class 3A, Class 3A, our champion taking 4 of the 5 captions was White Oak High School. The other first place vote went to West Rusk High School. Now, White Oak last won in 2021. New Diana won last year, and then White Oak wins again for their second in 3 years. Class 3A Military Championship. Wow, fantastic, fantastic. We jump to Class 4A, where once again we have a band winning their 5th consecutive military championship. Lindale High School in Class 4A, sweeping all judges. First place all around. They've won all 5 years. Class 1A, 2A, and Class 4A have only known one championship in each classification, one champion rather, Lindale, 5th in a row. Wow, that's just wild. That is crazy to me. And then we jump into the larger classifications of the 5A, 6A grouping. And if we look at that, this was a little less unanimous than the previous classifications. Lufkin High School is your champion, taking 2 of the 5 judges. In second place was Longview High School, also taking 2 of the judges' first place votes. And Atascocita, did I pronounce that right? Atascocita High School taking 3rd, and 1 judge placing them in first. Now, in this classification, Lufkin has won 3 state championships out of the last 5. They did not compete in 5A, 6A in 2020 or 2022, so the majority of this classification's championships have been won by Lufkin High School, 3 of the 5. Congratulations. Wow, that is wild. Now, we don't really focus much on military. It's another one of those things that here in where I'm at, Central Texas, the Austin area, we don't have that big of a tradition of military marching band. A lot more of the East Texas, a little bit more of the rural groups tend to be the ones that compete in that. So thank you to our commenter for keeping us honest, keeping us on top of this, because we certainly do not want to leave out any deserving marching bands, especially in the great state of Texas, where band is just better. We turn our attention to the Class 1A Open Class State Marching Band Championships, where Irion County won their third state marching band contest, taking 3 of the 5 judges in first place. Congratulations to them. Second place was Cross Plains High School with their highest placement ever, second place. And then in third place, we had Menard High School, who took 2 of the judges in first place. So the first place group took 3, the third place group took 2, the second place group did not take any. But that's just how these things work out. Congratulations to them. Also, Knox City in fourth place, their highest placement ever at state marching contest. And congratulations to these 2 groups for making state finals for the very first time, Water Valley High School in O'Donnell High School. Now, if you're new here and you don't really fully understand, 1A is the smallest schools classifications that we here have in Texas. 6A is the largest. This is a grouping based on 10, 11, 12th grade, because not all schools have 9th graders here in the state of Texas. We have 9th grade centers. Some even have 9, 10, and then there's 11 and 12. But regardless, we are going from smallest schools to larger schools, and that pertains also to the previously discussed military marching bands, where 1A's schools overall have less enrollment than a 6A. We jump now to Class 3A state marching band. We are in the open class, where Mineola High School takes their 4th championship, winning 3 of the 5 judges first place. Congratulations to Mineola High School, a perennial champion, perennial finalist. Good for them. Atlanta High School placing 2nd, their highest placement ever. And just like Class 1A, they did not get a first place vote, but the way it all worked out through the ordinals, they finished in 2nd place, with Redwater High School placing 3rd, taking 2 captions in first place. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the person who was helping us out with a lot of the contests out in East Texas, I think they did predict that Redwater would be a potential state champion. 2 out of the 5 judges agreed with you in finals. Redwater placing 3rd place on there. If we go on, Raymondville placed finals for the very first time, placing in 4th place. Congratulations to Raymondville. Orange Grove High School placing 9th in finals. This is their first finals appearance in 36 years. Whew. Congratulations to them. And then Hitchcock High School, 10th place in their first finals appearance ever. Congrats. God, band is so good, isn't it? Band's great. Band is great. We turn to the largest classification that competed last week at the state marching contest, Class 5A, the 2nd largest overall. Cedar Park High School, for the 8th time and 6th consecutive time, has won the UIL State Marching Championship, taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 judges, because in Class 5A and 6A, we do things differently in the judging, which we'll talk about in a second. That's the longest champion streak ever in the history of UIL. Congratulations to good old Cedar Park. In 2nd place, you had Rouse High School, which matched their highest placements of 2nd in 2021 and 2023. Aledo High School, their highest placement in finals ever at 4th. Lone Star, their highest placement ever at 6th. Aledo was 5th. Lone Star was 6th. Argyle in their first 5A finals appearance at 7th. McKinney North appearing in finals for the very first time. Now, you heard me say earlier about in Class 1A, 3A, 3 of the 5 judges, 4 of the 5 judges. In Class 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, I believe, but maybe 1A, 2A, 3A for sure. For the purposes of today, just 1A and 3A. We have 5 judges, 3 of them are music-based, 2 of them are visual-based. And in the music caption, you have to look at woodwinds, brass, percussion, ensemble, overall, individual. Like, it's a lot of sub-things in there in the music score. Same thing for visual. In the larger classifications, I do believe 4A, 5A, 6A, the band directors in those classifications voted to have more specific sub-captions. So in this class, 5A, you had 4 music judges, you had 2 visual judges, and then you had a music and visual judge. Now, in music, you had an ensemble music judge, you had a woodwind music judge, you had a brass music judge, and you had a percussion music judge. There's your 4. In visual, you had visual ensemble, and you had visual individual. No different than what you would know from a Bands of America. And then in UIL, we have enlisted a content and design caption. It's not general effect, in name only. Now, if you look at the types of people that are judging these contests, people that are very usually judging general effect at other contests who have general effect captions, UIL does not, they're the ones judging content and design. And then your typical people that you would see on other panels judging visual effect, visual individual, visual ensemble. Those people are judging visual and then music, etc. So when we look at this, and when I say that Cedar Park took 5 of the 7 judges, they placed first in ensemble music, woodwinds, and brass. They also placed first in visual ensemble and visual individual. And then if we go into who placed first in percussion, you have to go all the way to 5th place Aledo, who won percussion in finals, and then Rouse High School, who placed second, placed first in content and design. Now, unlike other states, UIL posts these recaps online. They're for everyone to look at. Now, you don't get to see the individual scores. You don't get to see the breakdowns of that. You can see the ordinals, and that's better than nothing. Recaps aren't copyrighted here in Texas. It's why would they be? So you can go check these out if you would like on the UIL State Marching Contest website. Congratulations to all of the 1A, 3A, 5A, and the state military bands who competed and qualified and won all the goodness at State Marching Band Championships. We will talk about 2A, 4A, 6A in a bit, but first we have to dive into Texas Grand Nationals, the hardest competition in the country, year in, year out. That's right. I said it last week. I'll say it again. It is harder to make BOA San Antonio Super Regional Finals than it is to make Grand National Finals. How do I know? Because look at how many of the bands that have missed San Antonio Super Regional Finals and then a week or two later go and make finals at Grand Nationals, and that tells you everything you need to know. Let's talk about it. The Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional. We tease it in the intro, but Flower Mound wins their 4th Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional Championship. Why is that significant? Because they have now tied with LD Bell for the most San Antonio Super Regional wins at 4. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. Now, if we look at the recap, Flower Mound won 2 of the 3 captions. They won general effect on the strength of visual general effect, as we look at the fact that Hebron won music general effect. Now, Flower Mound swept all the visual caption, which is why they won visual. And then Flower Mound wins music individual. Marcus wins music ensemble, but Hebron takes the overall music caption. Hebron winning music, Flower Mound winning visual and general effect for a LISD North, Louisville ISD, sweep of the top 3. Flower Mound in first, Hebron in second, Marcus in third. And before we dig in a little bit more into finals, let's talk a little bit about prelims. Super Regionals, much like Grand Nationals, have 2 different panels, and they're all judging against a rubric. And for those of you out there that say you can't compare scores across contests, what do you think we're doing at Grand Nationals and Super Regionals? You're literally having 2 different contests. You have to compare the scores, and you have to rank the scores because it's a rubric. So your argument of we can't compare the scores, I'm not saying it's null and void, but it's pretty thin. It's a pretty thin argument. In first place in prelims was Hebron High School. That's right, it was different. Flower Mound was second. Oh my God, that was different. And Vandergrift was third. Wait a minute, the band that ended up in the top 3 in finals wasn't. In fact, Marcus was 6th in prelims. 6th place in prelims. Just to show you how wacky things can get when you have however many bands competed at this competition. 62 bands. 62? Nope, I was wrong. 69 bands competed at this competition. Let's look at how things worked out. Hebron High School swept all music. They were top 3. I mean, they won all 3. Individual, ensemble, they won music. You go to visual performance. Individual, Hebron got first. Flower Mound got second. Hebron wins it overall. You get to music general effect. Music general effect won. Whoever that judge was, Rouse in first place. They were 7th overall. And then music general effect 2 went to Hebron. Hebron won music general effect. You go to visual general effect. That was won by Flower Mound. And then Flower Mound won general effect overall, but it didn't matter because overall in prelims, Hebron was first, Flower Mound was second, Vandergrift was third. If we look at some of the other ones, and we have to mention that we had a tie for 14th place, which meant 15 bands got to advance to finals. There was a tie for 14th place between the McNeil band out of Round Rock ISD and Round Rock High School out of Round Rock ISD. In fact, the last 3 bands in to Super Regional Finals were from Round Rock ISD. Cedar Ridge in 13th, McNeil in 14th, Round Rock also in 14th. But it could have been very different It was incredibly close. How close? Well, if you look at the recap on this, McNeil High School, their music captions, 26, 25 for an overall 25. Remember, they only take 14 to finals. Individual visual, 22nd. The other captions were all in finals until you get to visual general effect, 22. Now, you might think like, oh, how does that keeps a band out of finals, does it? Well, no, because they obviously made it and they tied. If you look at Round Rock High School, under visual, 26, 24, with an overall visual of 22nd place. Music general effect 1, 17th place. Overall music effect, 16th place. Visual effect, 17th place for an overall 15th in overall effect. Now, you might be going, well, wait, how did that happen? Why didn't the next band jump them? Well, if we look at the band, the first band out, Leander High School, 9, 11, 10 in music performance. They play really well. You go into visual, and your two visual captions were 16 and 16. They were 14th in visual performance. So right now, 2 out of the 3 captions, or 2 thus far, have them in the finals, 10th place and 14th place. This is already better than McNeil and Round Rock. But then we get into general effect, where general effect music 1, 24. General effect music 2, 15. There's a huge difference there for an overall of 19. 19 in music effect. McNeil was 10th. Round Rock was 16th. We go to visual effect. 28th in visual effect. McNeil was 22. Round Rock was 17. For an overall general effect placement of 22nd, where McNeil was 14. Round Rock was 15. Leander was 22. So what put McNeil and Round Rock in over Leander? General effect caption. Round Rock, musically strong. McNeil, visually strong. The general effect, good enough to overtake that, and that got him into finals. And then we went all crazy with the finals results. And when I went all crazy, what I mean is we jump into that, and we had some movement. McNeil, 15th place. They were in relatively the same place they were, tied to get in. Round Rock jumps up to 13th place. So they made an improvement. They made a leap. And the aforementioned Cedar Ridge jumped up to 11th place on there. So yeah, so we had some wild stuff happen at the Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional. And let's focus a little bit more on individuals now. We mentioned that this was Flower Mound's 4th championship. Congratulations to them. They tied LD Bell for the most wins by a band at the San Antonio Super Regional. Hebron High School won their 5th class championship as they won Class 4A in prelims. Rouse High School won their 4th class championship in preliminaries. Good for them. Pearland High School tied their highest placement, which they got in 2022, of 12th place in finals. And as we mentioned, McNeil and Seven Lakes High School enjoyed their first San Antonio finals placement. Congratulations to all of those groups. Wow, let's look at this. I had a thought of school districts, because we talked so much about Leander ISD and Louisville ISD. Flower Mound, Hebron, Marcus from Louisville. Vandergrift, Vista Ridge, Rouse from Leander ISD. Oh, and Cedar Park, that's 4. That is 4. So 4 from Leander, 3 from Louisville, McNeil, Round Rock, Cedar Ridge, that's 3 from Round Rock ISD. 3 school districts made up 10 of the 15 finalists. Ha! Hot dog! The Woodlands in their own area. Ronald Reagan in their own area. Capel in their own area. Pearland in their own area. Seven Lakes in their own school districts. So we had some one-offs here and there, but wow. Leander had 4. Louisville had 3. Round Rock had 3. Woo! That's wild. That's wild. And before we move on from Bands of America San Antonio, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about the history of the champions, because we focused on Flower Mound winning their 4th. Flower Mound and LD Bell, the only groups who have won 4 championships. The first BOA San Antonio Super Regional was held in 2003. That is right, 2003, over 20 years ago, where Westfield was the first Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional champion on their way to winning Grand Nationals in 2003. Westfield, the Woodlands, and Vandergrift have all won 1 Super Regional championship. Congratulations to them. Claudia Taylor Johnson and Hebron High School have won 2 contests at Bands of America San Antonio. It's wild when you put it in these ways, because you're like, wait, I could have sworn the Woodlands and Vandergrift have won more. I could have sworn Claudia Taylor and Hebron have won more. Marcus and Reagan have won 3 championships. 3. Again, another one of those things where you hear those names and you think, I could have sworn they won a lot more. And then we mentioned LD Bell in Flower Mound winning 4. That's right, 4, 3, 2, 1. And those are all of your champions from 2003 all the way to 2024. Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional, the hardest contest in the world. Don't at me because I'm right. There's no argument. That's just the way it is. We now turn our attention to the Open Class 2A, 4A, 6A State Marching Band Championships that take place this week, right now, in San Antonio, Texas at the Alamo Dome. And briefly, because I've talked about it so much, because of the size of our state, the amount of bands, all that stuff, we have broken our classifications into 1A, 3A, 5A, the odds, 2A, 4A, 6A, the evens, and depending on the year, odds go 1 week, evens go the week later. The next year they flip. That's how it'll be next year. So if you're going to Grand Nationals and BOA San Antonio and state, it's a pretty busy 2 weeks for you. Now, we're going to talk about 2A, 4A, 6A, and because your boy is a little less knowledgeable about Class 2A, as I did last week for 1A and maybe 3A, I've enlisted the help of our producer, Aaron, our show note statistician, fun fact person, and I said, what do we think? How is Class 2A going to go? And our guy, Aaron, and we found very little to no disagreement on this, believes our top 3 will be, in order, River Crest High School first place, Tanaha in second place, and Sundown High School in third. Those are the 3 that we believe will be on the podiums. There's not a podium. That will receive the medals. 1, 2, 3. Rivercrest is our prediction for winning the 2A class championship. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you, Aaron and company, for those thoughts. We turn to 4A, where I have to completely remove myself from the conversation due to the fact that I arranged for a group that has qualified for state, that has qualified for state finals, and is in the potential running for a top half finish. So we went back to the statistician Aaron and friends for their thoughts on how Class 4A was going to go. And they just said, we believe these are the top 4. The top 4 in alphabetical order will come down to Salina High School, China Spring High School, Panther Creek High School, and Sulphur Springs High School. All 4 of those groups have won contests, won areas, battled it out in 4A already. So it will be a very tight, interesting Class 4A state championship. Now, reminder, Class 6A prelims are going on right now, today, Monday. They take all day. Tomorrow, on Tuesday, Class 2A prelims takes place. Then it's 6A finals in the middle, and then 2A finals take place at night. And then on Wednesday, it's all 4A prelims in the afternoon/morning, and then 4A finals at night. And then we're done. We've crowned all of our marching band champions, military open. That's 6 different open class champions. That's 4 different military champions. That's 10 champions of marching band in the great state of Texas. 6A. If you had asked me on Friday, or even Saturday before preliminary results were announced of BOA San Antonio, who was going to win state for 6A, I would have said, we're going to have a 3-peat. It's going to be the Vandergrift High School Marching Band. And I'm not prepared to change that prediction, because while we have become so much closer in how a band can be a BOA band and a UIL band, there are still some things that differ between the 2 circuits. Clean is clean, good is good. That is true through the whole thing. And excellence as an effect is never more important than in UIL. Having said that, though, it has become a little obvious based on Saturday's final performance and even the preliminary performance that maybe some of the bands that we thought were super good and super clean hadn't maybe met up with other bands, or maybe they just hadn't been placed next to each other and seen how it's all going to go. Remember, Hebron High School won area. Vandergrift High School won area. They've won all their contests. They've been kind of undefeated for I don't know how long, maybe since BOA Austin of last year. Like, they're on a roll. This is the first time the best bands in Austin and Houston and Dallas Fort Worth all met up against each other. And you saw Dallas get the top 3, and then the Woodlands from Houston area get 4th, and then Vandergrift get 5th. So How is this all going to work out? Are all those bands going to be at state? Yes. Are all those bands going to make state finals? Yes. Do I think that that is the order that will come out in 6A finals when it's all said and done? No. No, I do not. I believe your top 4 will all come from an LISD school. I'm just going to say that. That is as clear of a prediction that I can give you. The top 4 will all come from an LISD high school. You know what? That's my real take. My extended take is the top 5 will come from an LISD high school. An LISD high school. Your top 5 from LISD. What does that mean? There are 2 LISD, LISD North, Louisville, and LISD South Central, Leander ISD. I know it's a big cop-out. I'm usually pretty I feel this is the way it's going to be. I think your top 5 will be LISD schools. Here's how I think it's going to go. Let's you know what? I got to do it. Let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. I think 5th will be Marcus. All right, that's an LISD school. I think 4th, Vista Ridge. All right, here we go. I think 3rd, Vandergrift. Yes, I know, it pains me to say that too, because I picked against them earlier and they won. Maybe this is the chip that they need. If you win, I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to take ownership of that. 2nd place will be Flower Mound. Oh God, and Hebron's going to win. Not that I don't like this, because I love Hebron. Flower Mound has one of my top 2 favorite shows of the year. Vandergrift is almost undeniable. It is so hard to make that prediction, but I have to do it. I'm going to say it. Hebron in 1st, Flower Mound in 2nd, Vandergrift in 3rd, Vista Ridge in 4th, Marcus in 5th. That's your top 5, all LISD schools. Woo! That was harder than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think I was going to do that, but there we go. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. This video will be posted while prelims are going on. So you can't say that I did it knowing the results, because these will be up before the prelims results come out. And still, it won't even matter, because a lot can change between prelims and finals. If those 5 bands are in your top half, and we are taking 14 bands to finals, so that means top 7, I'm close to being right. I'm pretty confident that those 5 bands will be in the top half. I'm fairly confident. This is harder than predicting a Grand National Champion. Why do you say that? Because your Grand National Champion is going to come from one of TABC. That's just the way it's going to be. TABC, not only the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission, is that what it stands for? Something like that? But it's also Tarpon Springs, Avon, Broken Arrow, Carmel. That's how it's going to be. That's your top 4. You know it. Your champ is going to come from one of those. And you can't say the same thing at Texas, which is why Bands of America San Antonio Super Regional continues to be the hardest contest in the country, followed by UIL 6A State Marching Championship Finals. I said what I said. And then Grand Nationals. You know what's really the actual hardest competition in the world is 6A Honor Band. Honor Band competition. That one's the hardest one. You only get one. And you only take 2 from... That's a whole nother thing. Yes, I'm a Texas homer. But I have spent plenty of time outside of state. I work with groups all over the country. I spent 2.5 years in the great state of Michigan. I know things are really good outside of the state, but things are really good here. It's really hard, which is why 3 of the 4 hardest competitions in the country are in the state of Texas, with 4th being Grand Nationals. Regardless. Let me know what you think about our predictions, my predictions, these predictions in the comment section down below. Who'd we miss? Who'd we leave out? Some fun facts that we may have missed about your band or a band you're familiar with, put in the comment section down below. We will be back. I don't know how we're going to do this. I think we will recap State Marching Championships on Thursday. And then on Friday, we are going to look ahead to semis and finals of Grand Nationals. Prelims is over 2 days, Thursday and Friday. It's just a pretty packed schedule. Oh, they also have the Marching Band Playoff Bracket, which is already thrown up in the air due to what happened this past weekend. And it'll go crazy if things go crazy again at 6A. Woo! So we have the Marching Band Playoff Bracket. We also have to recap State Marching Contest. And then we have to preview Grand Nationals. And then we come back and recap Grand Nationals. And then we have the top 64 bracket. It's 5 more videos in the next 7 to 10 days. We're going to do it. Can't stop, won't stop. We love band. I know you love band too, because Saturdays are for the bands, even though for these weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, every day but Sunday, those days are for the bands. Good luck. We'll see you on the other side. There's a whole lot of band going on. I love it. I love it. We'll see you in the next 5 videos coming out over the next 10 days.